If someone were to ask you the question, what are your top priorities in life? How would you answer? I've done a lot of research on this question. About 10 years ago, I created an online poll and asked as many people as I could, what are your top priorities in life? The top answers I got were family, career, and faith was a popular answer too, but always by far, family and career were the top two. What really surprised me and taught me something with this poll was what people didn't say. Basically, nobody said health and fitness. Several people even knew that a personal trainer sent them this poll, and they still didn't think to say health and fitness. So, as a personal trainer, I was really shocked by this. But as I had some time to think about it, I realized that this actually adds up and makes a lot of sense. It's life's changes that cause us to fall off track with our fitness plan. Whenever a big life change happens, we're really good at adapting when it comes to our family, our career, our faith, all the things in our life that are most important to us. But when it comes to our health, we'll get to that later. Fitness always becomes a thing we're going to get to later because we think we're too busy now. To me, the problem with that is that I believe that fitness is the vehicle that drives us to being the best version of ourselves. I know for myself that whenever I am taking good care of myself, when I am exercising regularly, when I'm eating healthy, when I'm getting good sleep, staying hydrated, I'm doing all the things that I know are important for my health. When I'm doing that, I'm a better husband, I'm a better son, I'm a better friend to everyone in my life. I'm a better creative thinker. I have more energy. I control my stress and anxiety and depression much better. I'm just better. It overflows into all areas of my life. Now, on the flip side of that, when I'm not taking good care of myself and fitness is not a part of my life, I'm out of shape. I feel like I don't handle my stress or my anxiety or depression very well. I have way more self-doubt, which makes me not as confident in my job. I'm not always in a very good mood, which then hurts my relationships. And I have a hunch I'm the worst version of myself. So to me, it doesn't actually matter how you answer that question. What are the top priorities in life? I don't believe you will be able to show up as the best version of yourself if fitness is not a part of your life as well. In my presentation today, there are a few takeaways that I want to make sure that you have. One of the things I want you to learn, there's three lessons that I've learned in my 20 years in fitness that I think are the most priceless. I am definitely the picture perfect example of how when you become a teacher, you're a better student. When you become a coach, you're a better athlete. When you become a trainer, you're better at making fitness a priority in your own life. I have gone through all these mistakes and learned the hard way. And there's no shortcut to experience, but I believe if there was one, it would be called mentorship. And so today I want to act as your mentor and I want to teach you three lessons that in my 20 years in fitness, I think are the key things you have to have in your life if you want to make fitness a long-term part of your live. I'm also gonna give you a tour of what I call the inconsistency roller coaster. That annoying roller coaster that we all get on where we're in great shape and then we're out of shape. We lose weight, we put it back on. We get in great shape, we gain all this strength and then we lose it. We have all this energy and then all of a sudden we feel lazy and worthless. That inconsistency where fitness is just a part of our life in spurts. I know so many people can relate to this, and I've been on this roller coaster so much, but now I know how to get off of it. So I'm going to teach you how to get off of this roller coaster or stay off of it completely from the beginning. And I'm also going to teach you how to become what I call a fitness fisherman. You've all heard the saying before, if you give someone a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach someone to fish, you feed him for the rest of their life. To me, a fitness fisherman is someone who can keep fitness a priority in their life, regardless of what is going on in their life. Whether their life is good or bad, they have the ability to show up to life as the best version of themselves. I'm also going to give you my free gift that you get from me by being a part of this summit and coming to my event. And we're hopefully we'll have a little bit of time for Q&A at the end. So I think it's really important. whenever I'm starting a new fitness journey or taking on a new fitness challenge or just even outside of fitness, just taking on a challenge at all, I find it very motivating to see examples of somebody else's success. I want to see other people who've accomplished what I am trying to accomplish. And so I can have some examples that it can be done. I think we all feel that way. But whenever I'm showing success stories of my clients or showing testimonials, sharing testimonials to try and inspire people to get started themselves, I rarely show before and after pictures because I mean, it's pretty awesome to see a big transformation, but it can also be very misleading because it shows the final picture and it almost seems like it almost is misleading where it makes it seem like it was easy to get there. It doesn't show all the hard work, all the adversity, all the back to the drawing board, all the two steps forward, one step back that probably happened in the middle to get there. And I think it's very important to see that. So today, I'm going to share with you my before and after from my life was like before fitness was a priority like in my life and I was able to become my best version of myself and what I'm like today and all the lessons, the important three lessons that I learned on the way to get there. And then hopefully that will be a takeaway that you can have and you can go on for yourself. So before fitness was a priority in my life, obviously now I'm a speaker and you probably read, I'm an author. I do a lot of things in fitness, but it's a far cry away from where I was in the past. A better representation of what I was like before is probably this guy. So who knows who this is? This, if you haven't seen the movie Inside Out 2, this is anxiety. So I highly recommend if you haven't seen Inside Out 2 or if you haven't or Inside Out 1 for that matter. They're great movies. It's good to go see. It's for kids, but there's a lot of very important messages in it. But it's about a little girl who's not quite a teenager. She's a little younger than that, but her emotions are what drive her. And for a lot of the movie, anxiety was what drove the ship and until she got a hold of it. And I could relate to that so much. I had so much anxiety and depression that I had to battle growing up through high school and college, and it held me back from accomplishing a lot of things or just going after experiencing a lot of things in my life. For example, in college, my least favorite day was the first day of school. I hated the first day of school. I always wanted to skip it, but I knew I had to be there. And the reason I hated it so much was just because of the fear of the unknown. I wouldn't know if my teacher was going to be the teacher that was going to make me stand up and introduce myself to the rest of the class. The thought of that would just terrify me. If I did have to do it, my voice would crack, my whole body would shake, I would just die of embarrassment. 15 minutes into class, I'd still be scared sitting in my chair thinking, am I out of the woods? Are they going to come back around and still make me do this? Mind you, I was going to college to be a teacher at this time. So clearly I was in bad shape. And actually, as it came time for me to actually teach to my peers and get ready to student teach, I almost changed majors. I was like, I don't think I can do this. And my family luckily helped me realize that maybe there's something I can do about this. And I went to the doctor and they diagnosed me of having social anxiety disorder and severe shyness. Severe shyness was what it was called. Who knew that was a thing? But I guess it is. And they prescribed me Zoloft, and that the Zoloft made all the difference at the time. It helped me overcome my obstacles of anxiety and depression and stress, and I was able to start going through the motions of learning how to teach and speak in front of people, and it made all the difference. And I actually loved student teaching. I became a teacher. I was a great teacher for 3 years, and I really enjoyed it. I actually thought that when I became a personal trainer, that it was just going to be a temporary spot for me, temporary job until I found my next teaching job. But as luck would have it, it ended up being a better fit for me, and I found out what I was supposed to be doing this whole time. Actually, I think my second year in fitness is when I really learned that I was always attracted to exercise because it was my best medicine. I learned that like I was always involved in sports in high school. I went to college as an athlete. I was a PE teacher and then I was a personal trainer. But exercise was my best medicine. Eating right, exercising, taking care of myself was my best medicine to handle my anxiety, my stress, my depression, everything that was holding me back. And once I realized that about myself, it really fueled my passion to help other people achieve that same thing. When that really is shining a spotlight on what is the best medicine, it also shines a spotlight on everything you've been doing that's the wrong medicine. And it really helped me just grow as a personal trainer and as just a leader. And it opened the door for a lot of things. And it helped me realize because I really, my life really changed after that. And it helped me realize that some of the best things in our life are waiting for us right behind what we're scared of. So today, I've been in fitness for over 20 years. I help people figure out how fitness fits in their busy lives. That's my strength right now. As people's lives change and they can't figure out how fitness fits, I help them figure that out so they can keep showing up as the best version of themselves. I am a husband. I married Jessie Chad in 2021. So, yes, my wife's last name is my first name. No, she's not Jessie Chad Austin, and I am not Chad Chad, although I think that would be an awesome speaker name. So, I'm still just tabling that for now, but I might come back around to being Chad Chad. In the middle of us right there, that is Walter. He is my best man and Priority Fitness's mascot, my studio. I've been a personal trainer since 2006. I'm a best-selling author of the book series Make Fitness a Priority, and that is something we'll cover a little bit more in my talk today. I'm an avid obstacle course racer and runner, and I think I actually fell in love with obstacle courses about the time I became a personal trainer. My first book is called How to Win the Fight Against Your Excuses. And I think of an excuse as just an obstacle that we haven't overcome yet. And I feel like we all face obstacles every single day. And when we face an obstacle, we basically have two choices. Either we can overcome the obstacle or we can allow the obstacle to overcome us. So I love being able to help people overcome their obstacles. And so I think doing these courses or running these races, it really translates into my everyday life and it helps me overcome these obstacles better when I show up, when I get to them. And it helps me be better at it in person and leading as a trainer as well. And I'm also a speaker. So that person who is too scared to introduce himself to a class of people in the past, after overcoming my anxiety and finding my best medicine, I found a hidden strength that I had. And also, my wife was part of that journey too, as you'll find out here in a little bit. But yeah, so all the play things I am today, a speaker, an obstacle racer, a personal trainer, a writer, all these things are things that wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have been brave enough to get out of my comfort zone. So how did I get here? How did I get from that anxiety ridden person to the personal trainer and the leader I am now? It started in 2006 when I became a trainer at 24 Hour Fitness. 24 Hour Fitness, I loved working there. It's a great gym. I had great bosses, great coworkers that really helped me become a trainer. When you work at a gym that big, many of you probably are familiar with 24 Hour Fitness. It's a really big gym. There's a lot of members. When you work at a gym that big, you train a lot of people, and you learn right away that people come to a personal trainer fueled by short-term motivation. So what I mean by that is there's something coming up in their lives that they need fast results for. It might be a wedding or a vacation or an event they're training for, a reunion, their birthday, or swimsuit season is coming up. There is something coming up they want fast results for. And while it's really rewarding to help people get fast results and to feel better about themselves going into this event, the really tough lesson I learned, which is my first lesson that I want to relay to you, short-term motivation leads to short-term results. I learned right away. I mean, I think all motivation is awesome. Whatever motivation you can find to get you started, lean into it and take everything you can out of it. But if you don't eventually take the time to look past it as a what's next, then the answer is going to be made for you and it's nothing. So if by never taking the time to look past these short-term goals, once that event came and went, so did all the people's results because all their motivation was tied up in that event. And I'm sure many of you watching this video are in professions of helping people. And I'm sure you didn't get into that profession to help people temporarily, as I didn't either. This sucks. I don't want to have my results with someone just be temporary. I want my impact to last long after my time with my client is over. So once I learned this lesson, I really changed the way I thought. Then 2010, I opened my own business. I became Chad Austin Fitness. And right away, I started working on trying to improve myself. In 2011, I joined Toastmasters to work on my public speaking and face my first started as facing my fear as a speaker. I didn't know I was going to be finding a talent or something that I was passionate, find out I'm passionate about doing. And in TGIF Toastmasters is actually where I met my wife that I have now. Then in 2012, I started doing a lot of speaking, and all of my speeches are and all the writing I did was about long-term fitness and how you can make fitness a permanent part of your life and improve your quality of life through fitness to avoid short-term results. And through that, I opened Priority Fitness, which was named after my first book, Make Fitness a Priority: How to Win the Fight Against Your Excuses. And through that, I started a meetup group, Make Fitness a Priority. And one book became two and then three into a whole book series. So it started out with How to Win the Fight Against Your Excuses, and then a 6 week workbook, and then a book of 30 tips. And through this, everything in my books was about helping people get long-term success. And I felt like I was outnumbered because there wasn't a lot of people around me as trainers that were really practicing these or saying these kind of messages. Everything was about how fast you can get results and about weight loss. And I decided to change the narrative from how fast you can get results and how much you can lose to what you can gain. What will you gain by making fitness a priority in your life? How will your life improve if you keep fitness a part of your life? And that not only started a community, but a whole movement about people who have this same gain of making fitness a long-term part of their life. And it became a community that kept growing. And I was just full of a lot of enthusiastic people that were just so encouraging of each other, and it's a very motivating events whenever we had them and welcoming, friendly events. It was awesome. But eventually, I learned that people were still falling off track. I would have clients come back that I'd trained in the past that had lost their results and needed my help to get back in shape again. And myself, I was noticing the same thing. Even though I knew everything, I felt like I kept growing as a personal trainer. I was still going through spurts of times where fitness was not a part of my life, or I'd gotten far out of shape and I had to really fight to get back into it again. Like, how is this happening? What am I missing? And so my question became, what causes clients to fall off track with their fitness plan? And I really dove hard into that, trying to figure it out. What am I missing? What am I doing wrong? How can I do better? How can I stop my clients from falling off track? How can I keep fitness a better part of my own life and do better? And I eventually realized one common denominator that everyone had. It was at all these people whenever they lost track of fitness, when fitness fell out of their life, something had changed in their life. So for myself, I was a personal trainer who was single and brand new to the city and lived right behind the gym and like the apartment complex directly past them. When I first became a trainer, I worked out 2 hours a day, every day of the week. So I had all this time. But flash forward to now, I own my own business. I have a studio. I'm married. I speak. I write. I do all these things. What I did then would never fit in my life right now. And my life has changed so many times that I hadn't adapted to catch up. And so every time fitness has kind of fallen out of my life, I can see why now when I look back. And I bet you can with your own life as well. So I realized as I looked into this that life changes that throw us off track, it can be a good change, it can be a bad change, it can be big or small, it doesn't matter. If it just disrupts how fitness fits in your life, and if you don't adapt to it, then fitness won't be a part of your life. So examples could be you get married. There's a big change in your life, or the opposite of that could be you got divorced. That could be something that's tough to grow. And both of those things you have to adapt to, or fitness might fall out of your life. You get promoted at work. Maybe you have a lot more responsibilities and a lot more stress that comes with that. Or maybe you get fired and that you're suffering that the grief of that loss or the financial grief you might be under after that could be a change. Or maybe you decide to start having kids and start growing a family. Or maybe your kids grow up and they leave for college. Both of those are big changes. Or maybe even what's in the middle of that. If you have multiple kids and they all get to the age where they're all a part of activities at the same time. So that's a lot of pieces of the pie of your time taken away that is going to make it harder for you to find time for fitness. Or maybe your job all of a sudden requires a lot of travel. And so that's a big adjustment you have to go to. Or maybe your job was very active and your reward for getting promoted is that now your job is very sedentary and you're sitting all day long, burning 1 calorie a minute that whole time. Those are major things that you have to adjust to if you want to reach your fitness goals. And these are just a few examples. It could be that maybe there's an injury that you're suffering from, or an illness, or God forbid, a natural disaster takes your home, like a tornado or a flood or a fire or a hurricane. All these things are major changes. And there's so many more. I bet there's some that are coming to your mind right now. So after I realized that a life change is what causes us to fall off track, I realized if I can help people adapt faster to a life change, then I can make a much bigger impact than I am now. So then my business became the fitness pivot, with the idea being when plan A no longer fits, how do you pivot to plan B? How do you keep fitness a part of your life? So this is the inconsistency roller coaster. This is the problem that I knew I had to solve. So it starts over here at the left where fitness fits in your life. And when you're right here, fitness fits perfectly in your life and your health is a priority along with everything else that's important to you. You're showing up to life as the best version of yourself. All of a sudden, a life change happens. Could be good, could be bad, could be big or small, but it disrupts the way fitness fits in your life. And if you don't adapt to it, then you find out yourself in a place where fitness no longer fits. The longer you're in this spot where fitness doesn't fit in your life, the farther you go from being the best version of yourself to being able to show up to life as the best version of yourself. The farther you get away from that. And then eventually you get to a point where you just want to look and feel better again. You want to get back in shape. And so you're ready to get started. And the first obstacle you have to overcome then is the too busy obstacle that because you're still wanting to do what you did at the beginning, where are on the far left, where fitness fits in your life. But what you did then does not fit anymore because your life has changed. And so a lot of times when we get to this spot where we're peak motivated, we're ready for change again, we're ready to get back in shape. And when we say I'm too busy, a lot of times what we mean is I'm too busy to work out like I used to. So when we're in this position, we're really ready to get started. We think of the last time we were in great shape or the last time maybe we got great results. And whatever we did at that time for our exercise, for our workouts, for our nutrition, for everything, that becomes the bar. Doing anything less than that is not doing enough, or it's almost something we should be ashamed of. So if we can't do that, then we just have to wait. We don't have enough time right now. We'll just have to wait till later till we do have time. So you're waiting for a day that will never come. We have to take that way of thinking and throw it out the window. Doing less does not make something less of a priority to you. All it means is it fits differently in your life right now. I'm going to say that again. Doing less does not make it less of a priority. All it means is it fits differently in your life right now. That's a very important thing to learn. So once along with that obstacle, the other part, once we're in this place where we're really ready to look and feel better and we're peak motivated to get started on something, that is when all the turkey bacon comes. Turkey bacon is my word for instant gratification. I hate turkey bacon. Turkey bacon is not bacon. Is not at all bacon. It's nowhere close to being bacon. It is an illusion. But when you're in this position and you're desperate for results, you badly want to look and feel better, we are easy prey for people who are trying to sell us an easier path, a shortcut, promises of fast results with little or no work on our part. And we're going to have promises of turkey bacon that sometimes looks just like the real thing. When we're desperate for results, it especially does, but it looks just like the real thing. It has all the promises of being the real thing, almost sometimes more promises because it's promised that you can do this without even working out or without even change the way you eat or anything like that. So it's supposed to be easy, an easy path, a shortcut, and there is no such thing. Unfortunately, there is no easy button. There is no shortcut. If you want fitness to be a long-term part of your life, if you want to get the results and you want them to stay, I mean, it doesn't have to be real complicated, but you have to do the work. There's no way you're going to get there without putting in the work. And so everyone that's promising you a shortcut and an easy path, all they're promising you is an illusion because there's no substitute for the real thing. Which one of these would you rather have? The other part of the problem all these promises of fast results that look very good, all these promises that are so tempting. And when you're in this place, like I said, even the smartest person's judgment can be clouded. Your last line of defense should be that this has to fit you. So if what they're promising you, if the program they're pitching you, if everyone doing it is doing the exact same thing, it's not going to work. If it is not taking into fact your fitness level or your fitness goals or your lifestyle, your schedule, if it's not taking into account anything about you, everyone just does the exact same thing, then it's probably not going to fit you specifically. And while you might be able to force that to fit for a little while, but it probably won't fit in your life. And if it doesn't fit in your life, it's going to then, if you and you force it, it's going to mess up the balance of your life. So all those other priorities that you have that are so important, your family, your career, your faith, it's going to hurt those things. And there's one golden rule to remember here. If it doesn't fit, it won't be there very long. What you do for fitness, this is the third rule. What you do for fitness has to fit in your life. If it doesn't fit, it will not be there very long. And then you're just going to end up back where you started, where fitness doesn't fit. So, how do we get off of this roller coaster, or maybe just stop from going through the whole thing like we just did? It's really simple. We have to learn to do the same thing we do with our family, our career, and all the other priorities. We have to learn to adapt to the change when it happens. So when the life change happens, and all of a sudden what you did in the past for fitness no longer fits in your life, we have to adapt and adjust to find something that does fit. So I do that with my clients by doing my cleanse and reset coaching program. It's two parts, the Dorman cleanse and the fitness reset. The Dorman cleanse is named after a past client of mine named Scott Dorman, who had a lot of health issues the whole time that I trained him. I trained him for a really long time, but he was one of my most consistent clients, one of my most happiest clients. And he always used fitness the way he should to have a really good quality of life, to improve his quality of life. And I think the reason it was because he always knew the following questions. So I was asked on a podcast once, as I was interviewed on a podcast, at the end of it, I was asked a question that really stumped me. And the question was just, what's the definition of fitness? No one ever asked me that before on an interview. And I got done. I When I got done with the interview, I asked my wife, I said, "Hey, Jess, what's the definition of fitness?" And she responded by pulling her phone out and saying, "Hey, Google, what's the definition of fitness?" And I thought that was a pretty funny answer. And I realized how funny the question was. But I responded differently. I just refused to answer. I told the host, that's a question that I can't answer because everyone has their own answer to that question. And I think it was actually the perfect response. But everyone has their own definition to fitness. So another way to say it, if you don't like the question, what's your definition of fitness? What does fitness mean to you right now? As our life changes, what fitness means to us and our own definition of fitness changes as well. And every time your life changes, you may have a different definition of fitness. You may answer that question differently, but it's important to start. So it might be when I was in my 20s, it was definitely more about how I look my best. It was about strength. It was about staying lean or shredded, things like that. But now it's more about how I feel, how to control my anxiety, how to improve my confidence and have my more energy, things like that. For someone, it might be about living without pain. It might be about weight loss. It might be about strength gain. Fitness might be more about staying flexible or being able to stay active as a grandparent. All those things are great answers. But what is your definition right now? There's no wrong answer. You just have to be honest with yourself of where you are. So that's the first thing, the dormant cleanse. The second part is the fitness reset. And that's really simple. You're just going to step back, take a look at your life, what does your work schedule look like, your family schedule, everything in your life. Where does fitness fit? Where does fitness fit? How does fitness fit? But those two things, understanding how to cleanse and reset every time a life change happens, if you learn the ability to do that, then you'll become what I call a fitness fisherman. Someone who can keep fitness a priority in their lives no matter what unexpected challenges happen. So no matter if things are going good in your life or bad in your life, you will have the ability to show up to life as the best version of yourself. And that is what fitness should be able to do for everybody. So that is my presentation. Thank you for being here and being a part of it. To understand that fitness is the vehicle that drives us to being the best version of yourselves. So I hope you took a lot away from this. Things I wanted you to take away, my three lessons. Short-term motivation leads to short-term results. So be sure to whatever motivates you to get started, lean into it and milk it for all it's worth for that motivation. But eventually you have to look past it. What is next? What is next, and why is fitness important to me? You always have to look past it. If you don't answer what's next, then it's going to be answered for you and it's nothing. The second one is that life changes is what cause us to fall off track with our fitness plan. Life changes are what cause us to fall off track with our fitness plan. And the last one is that what you do for fitness has to fit in your life. If it doesn't fit, it will not be there very long. Those three lessons, short-term motivation leads to short-term results. Life changes are what cause us to fall off track. And what you do has to fit in your life. Those three lessons, if you can follow those, you're going to have a lot more success and you're going to be able to help keep yourself off of that fitness roller coaster. Take your phones out now and take a scan this QR code in front of you. That is my gift to you for watching my presentation. It is make yourself a priority. You're getting a copy of my first book, a PDF copy of my first book that started the Priority Fitness, Make Fitness a Priority movement, How to Win the Fight Against Your Excuses. And also, if you have any questions for me, the fitnesspivot.com, that is my website. Go on there and schedule a strategy call with me that doesn't cost anything, but I can help you kind of come up with the game plan, a strategy. So if you're struggling to get past the I'm too busy excuse or get off the inconsistency roller coaster, if you're struggling to figure out how fitness fits in your life, I can help you map it out. I can help you come up with a game plan for success.